So guys, a northern APC chieftain has come out to say that the National Assembly should be shut down until Tinubu start acting. Yes, we want to see Tinubu show political will to end insecurity. Don't forget that recently we heard that Tinubu entered a deal with these people before he became president. But the question remains, are these northern elders not supposed to be blamed too for what we are seeing? Don't forget that we've been told that they imported these Fulani terrorists into Nigeria for political reasons. And at the end of the day, these guys refused to go back to the country from where they imported them. And that is why we are seeing this menace in the country. They want to take over communities. They want to have their own place to live and all that. And they believe that it's by paying people that they are going to be doing it. So I'm just going to allow you to take a look at what this man said on the floor of the Senate. Yes, Nigerians are demanding that Tinubu start acting. The Tinubu's government is not saying anything. They are not doing much to end this menace. But at the same time, the northern leaders should actually be held responsible for what we are seeing in this country today. Now, take your time and listen for yourself what he said on the floor of the Senate. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, take a look.
The country is running in blood and tears. You cannot go, the farmers cannot go to farm. Our market, our traders cannot go to market. Worshippers cannot go to mosque, cannot go to churches. Then what are you legislating here? Mr. Speaker, if the government is not prepared to actually do the right thing that will protect the lives and property of our people, I urge on you, I urge on this honorable house, as a house of the people of Nigeria, to stand up to pay the supreme cost. And that is no more than to shut this house down and to call an emergency on any legislative issue and wait until the right thing is taken by the government of the day. The responsibility of security, Mr. Speaker, of course, by the constitutional provisions, it is a sole responsibility, more of a sole responsibility to the center. I agree with whoever may say, of course, governors in the subnationals are also accountable and they must be held responsible for the security of lives and properties of their people. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in virtually all of our constituencies, given the opportunity, everyone here can rise to tell you the account of what is happening. Mr. Speaker, it is not religious. Mr. Speaker, it is not even political. This fight and this menace of insecurity in Nigeria is something that does not have any identification of one's party or one's religion or one's tribe whatsoever. It is a calculated attempt to demoralize Nigerian state. And if care is not taken, Mr. Speaker, even for those of us who take politics more seriously, we'll have a very big question to answer at the end, because it is like this unnecessary insecurity going on. This is a high level of conspiracy targeting our political processes. As we are approaching 2027, Mr. Speaker, we will all be expected to have a peaceful conduct of our polls. How do you have that if our communities, local communities, are plunged into crisis, into banditry, into kidnappings in the churches, in the mosque, even down in the oil-producing area, which is our economic live wire? Production of oil, crude oil, is being unfortunately undermined by militia groups. So it is like a collective thing that we must put our hands on deck and call whoever is responsible, sir, to order. Order, order, and order. And this house must not take for granted that we are not part of the government. If the government is wanting, this institution of the legislature is a component of the government itself. We have to look inward to ourselves and see what more of oversight functions, like some members have said, are we going to make? Are we going to provide? Mr. Speaker, we can even declare legislative emergency. Close the house, shut it up. Who are you legislating for? What laws are you making when the country is running in blood? The country is running in blood and tears. You cannot go, the farmers cannot go to farm. Our market, our traders cannot go to market. Worshippers cannot go to mosque, cannot go to churches. Then what are you legislating here? Mr. Speaker, if the government is not prepared to actually do the right thing that will protect the lives and property of our people, I urge on you, I urge on this honorable house, as a house of the people of Nigeria, to stand up to pay the supreme cost. And that is no more than to shut this house down and to call an emergency on any legislative issue and wait until the right thing is taken by the government of the day. Mr. Speaker, I also want to believe we are equally responsible. We should also go down to our constituencies and lead civil organizations, like the civil vigilante. Let's go and reorganize our vigilante groups. We take commands and take charges of such civil organizations to see how we can salvage and protect our country, Nigeria. What is happening today, Mr. Speaker, is not just to call for mere security or an average performance of security agencies. What we expect of Nigerian government, no more, no less, my Speaker, is to have absolute security. It's for us to have absolute safety. Mr. Speaker, Nigeria must have absolute protection of the lives and property of our own people. This is my take, Mr. Speaker. And I also want to use the opportunity to tell you that my immediate constituency, which is enclave at the southern part of my state, Kanu, is also undergoing serious danger, because in the constituency we have what we call the huge Falgore Game Reserve, lying in between Kaduna State, Plateau State, Bauchi State, through Ningi and Bura, Mr. Speaker, and also contacting some part of Jigawa State to the axis of Turkey. This place used to be a tourist attraction. Many people come in, including tourists from abroad. But because of the dilapidating security situation in my state, Mr. Speaker, today, abduction and kidnappings, not only in the forest, in our homes, has become a daily affair, a daily occurrence. Just like what the pharmacist may prescribe to you in the hospital to ask you to take Panadol once in the day, in the morning, one in the afternoon, and another one in the evening. That is how kidnappings is so prevalent in my federal constituency. This place that used to be an attraction for tourists, it has now become like an extension of the Sambisa forest in Borno State. So we have to definitely do something, Mr. Speaker. I may not have enough time to continue my submissions, but I want to thank you so much for giving our members this opportunity to speak. And I also want to urge members to continue in the spirit we have started. I have not seen anybody here speaking as a southern member of the House of Reps. I have not seen anyone here speaking as a northern member of the House of Reps. I am the leader of the Northern Caucus, Northern Regional Caucus. I am also not speaking as a member representing the northern part of this country. The security challenges that we are facing is a colossal one, it's a collective one that has to do with the Nigerian nation. And we must step up to that expectation and deal with this matter once and for all. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you. And I want to thank honorable members for listening to me. And I also want to further tell you that I have not lost my hope in the renewed hope agenda. I'm still a proud member of the APC.
The state's government has indicated their commitment to strengthening its fight against terrorism in Nigeria. The announcement came in a statement posted on X by presidential advisor Bayo Ononuga, who stated that the Nigerian security delegation, led by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, met with various U.S. officials to strengthen security cooperation, secure enhanced intelligence and defense support, refute allegations of genocide in Nigeria, and agree on a new cooperation framework to protect citizens. And I'll take Bayo Ononuga's post on X in part. He wrote, "In all engagements in Washington, D.C., Nigerian delegation refuted allegations of genocide in Nigeria, emphasizing that violent attacks affect families and communities across religious and ethnic lines. The delegation strongly rejected wrongful framing of the situation, saying such would only divide Nigerians and distort the realities on the ground." Following these engagements, the United States government affirmed its readiness to deepen security cooperation with Nigeria. This includes enhanced intelligence support, expedited processing of defense equipment requests, and the potential provision of excess defense articles that's subject to availability to reinforce ongoing operations against terrorist and violent extremist groups. In addition, Bayo Ononuga stated that the United States government also expressed willingness to extend humanitarian assistance to impacted populations in the Middle Belt, especially, as well as offer technical support to ensure the mechanisms around early community warnings are strengthened. And this is a sort of collaboration that I have been looking for. It's great to see that, this conversation is going even beyond detail, providing technical assistance, and, concentrating on the Middle Belt, which is really where the Christian killings have occurred for decades. Meanwhile, the assistant to the U.S. Secretary of War for Public Affairs, Sean Parnell, published a readout of the landmark meeting between U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, in which he stated that both countries discussed ways to make tangible progress on stopping violence against Christians in Nigeria and combating West African jihadist terrorist groups. During the meeting, Hegseth emphasized the need for Nigeria to take urgent action to stop violence against Christians, adding that the department is open to work with Nigeria to deter terrorists that threaten the United States. I'm happy that it's not just from Bayo Ononuga that we are hearing the report. We got a readout from the Department of War. I mean, the collaboration is starting, like I told you, Ayo. When we first took the story where the Nigerian delegation went to meet with, the man leading the investigation in Congress, Riley Moore.
Yes.
I said that this is, the beginning of the conversation for the collaboration that we really need to tackle insecurity. However, we're seeing, pockets of, reports of insecurity, insurgency. Yesterday, there was fake news from my town, Kwale, that we saw that they said something about, the Fulani headers terrorizing the young girls, but it wasn't true. The Delta State Police Command debunked that news, that it is not true. But it's either we are hearing that these are pockets of violence or there are real violence still happening in Nigeria. However, in Nasarawa State, a video that made the rounds on social media overnight showed panic and chaos in Agboda village community after a church crusade was allegedly disrupted by terrorist headsmen. In a video dated yesterday, Monday, November 24th, families with young children are seen running as a man recalls the moment the crusade was disrupted. Let's take a look.
We came for a crusade here, live in Abuja, in Nasarawa State. And live as I'm talking to you, you can see up in the village because someone that was coming back from the farm. Just
came in for a crusade in this community today. Look at what it is.
As you can see, you can see the youth, everybody is unrest just for the sake of it right here in Nasarawa State. A serious uproar in this community.
Dr. Bati, we're yet to get an official statement from the state government in Nasarawa State. And despite moves being made by the federal government to get, a handle on insecurity and terrorism, videos like this show just how fearful and uneasy communities across the country are feeling right now. Arise News has not independently verified that video, but it has gone viral. I thought it was important to highlight it, also to hear from the Nasarawa State government. We did see the video of this young man even preparing to go for this crusade, only to have this video of the charade that occurred last night.
A quick assessment of the trip to the United States would inform us that it was a successful trip.
Yes.
Against the background of the diplomatic tension that has been caused by the redesignation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. The Nigerian delegation eventually met with the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who is in a position to take this to the highest levels within the U.S. It also shows that, in spite of everything, the bilateral relations between Nigeria and the United States is alive and well, and there are opportunities for further consultation and collaboration. Now, Nigeria has very strong relationship with the U.S. in the area of trade, security, economic growth, education, and this has been a long-standing relationship. So reaching out to the Americans means, of course, that there are, new pathways. But this idea of cooperation and collaboration and intelligence sharing, it's not as straightforward. There will be modalities that have to be worked out. There will be trade-offs. I just hope that the Nigerian administration will have the capacity to measure up Because oftentimes we hold these meetings, we lack the capacity to follow up and to follow through. And in this particular case where security is involved, I hope that everybody will be attentive enough to know that it's not something you joke with. Since Trump says we tend to see everything as a joke in Nigeria.
State governorship candidate Badewa Rose Vival is calling on the federal government to license firearms for citizens to defend themselves against terrorists due to the government's failure to secure the country. Speaking on live television, the politician cited recent abduction in Kwara and Ogun states over the weekend, saying that insecurity has spread beyond the north to other parts of the country, adding that it would be wicked to ask citizens to remain helpless when the government has failed to provide security. Let's take a look.
It is wickedness to ask people to just remain helpless when the government fails them. How many people have to die before we understand this fact has to become a reality? Until the government steps up. I'm talking about this situation now because of the failure of government that we found ourselves in. Right? And in this failure, if the government cannot sit up, then they start considering licensing firearms. But then you now ask yourself, if the same government is withdrawing protection from people before terrorists come in, will they license firearms?
By calling for citizens to be licensed to carry firearms has been a long time debate. Some say it's a radical proposal that will either be seen as a desperate cry for self-preservation or a recipe for total chaos. I mean, this is not the first time that we've, seen this debate online or even Nigerians talking. I believe there was even a bill by Ned Nwoko that, he tried to push. But you can't really blame anyone calling to protect themselves at this point. We have even seen videos, if you can pull some of those videos, of priests carrying guns that have been trending on social media all along. Your thoughts on the story? These are the videos we're seeing of these priests, even in church, carrying guns.
We find ourselves in such a complex place,
yes.
OG, because what do you expect people to do in this type of climate? Is that the natural human instinct of self-preservation kicks in and people want to resort to self-help. But unfortunately, when it comes to self-help, we've seen time and time again that it generally does lead to a state of anarchy. But in this moment, we say, okay, the state is not doing its duty. So the people are saying, well, we can't just be exposed. So the state has to step in. This is what we've been calling for consistently, and we can't relent in continuing to call for that. Because let's remind ourselves that one of the reasons why we are in this predicament is because it is just a brazen institutional weakness.
Yes.
Now, how many people actually update their driver's license regularly? And how often is it checked? And how authentic is it? If you look across the country, driver's license, right? Now, how are we now going to regulate gun licenses? And how are we going to ensure that, people truly are abiding by it? How are we going to bypass the corruption? So institutions first have to be addressed. And this is, I'm just consistent about this point, that the real fundamental issues, we can't take Panadol for this kind of ailment, unfortunately. So yes, if all things are equal, I think it's fair to say people should have the right to carry firearms. But unfortunately, all things are not equal, and we don't want a situation where the same people that we are accusing of orchestrating and being perpetuators of these things, their arguments that these people are funded by powerful people. Are we sure we want those same powerful people to now have legal licenses to also access firearms? Because remember, as much as innocent citizens will have access to it, also those with malicious intent will also have access. So many things. Are we going to do mental health checks before granting licenses? This gun licenses, it's a huge topic. It is. On its own.
It's such a huge topic that I wish that everyone can.
They are behaving like they are in a psychotic state.
They don't have.
If you give them guns freely, then you'll be opening the gate to hell.
But you know that most of the gun control. What about that most of the gun violence has been perpetrated by people in America, people that have been unwell. A lot of them are not normal. The gun violence.
That we have many people who are unwell
right now.
Of Lagos and Nigeria that are not sure.
Right.
Didn't you say that even our political leaders should all undergo psychological tests? Because we are not yet mature for that. Please, for those who are advocating for that, it's an abdication of responsibility of the government to do what they're supposed to do, rather than emphasize licensing guns. Let's use that same energy to push for the government to do what they're supposed to do.
Yes,
we can
but also the conversation about even these terrorists that have access, the proliferation of arms, firearms is the biggest problem that we have in Nigeria. How are these people able to have their hands on the guns and we're not able to? Yes, absolutely. Well, we'll continue on the conversation.
Even without guns,
so you don't own a gun? You don't own a firearm?
Well,
I thought you had one.
I'm covered by the blood of
Amen. In traffic, people will be angry and bring out a gun.
That's what happens in America. That's really that's one of the biggest issues in America, the gun control and gun violence.
I commend the celebrated Honorable Dodugwa. It is important to note that we are the hope of Nigerians, the Parliament. We are the fulcrum of democracy. Doesn't matter how emotional we get, it doesn't matter how burdensome the problem is. We cannot argue that the Parliament should be shut down because the problem is much. This is the solution hub of the nation. I want to say that we should be careful in projecting what might be misunderstood by the people outside this chamber. Mr. Speaker, no problem is too big for the Parliament to handle. We will not shut the Parliament. We will stay here together because we have best brains gathered from all over the country. We will find solution to our problems. We have faced stronger problems before now, Mr. Speaker. Last dispensation, upper dispensation, we faced problems. We never shut the Parliament. It will not be this time that the Parliament will be shut. We are capable, we are able, we will find solution to our problem under your leadership. We will not close the door. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Opinion, just like you made your own opinion. What I want the press to know, that whoever has spoken is speaking on his personal standing. It's not a resolution of the House because we are not putting to vote any aspect of these motions. So it should be regarded as contributions. At the end of these debates, we will now look at all the areas and put to question and then come up with resolution of the House. So anything that is being mentioned here is just a mere opinion of the Speaker, not the General House. So please let it be taken note of accordingly. Thank you very much.
Now, let me show you how some Nigerians are reacting after this APC chieftain was seen saying that the National Assembly should be shut down. This person here said, he says it's not religious, yet they shout Allah Akbar when they attack. He says it's not tribal, yet it's Fulani and Hausa boys. It's not political, yet government doesn't arrest them, but pays ransom, thereby funding terrorism. When will these guys wake up? And this other person here said, say the truth that it is religious Islamic terror committing genocide against Christians, and you won't die, Mr. Representative. Then you should tell Nigerians the truth. And this other person here said, with that cap on his head, then he's just speaking like one former governor that was equally former House of Rep member that spoke about death penalty for corrupt politicians, only for him to be seen in a video of him collecting dollars as alleged bribe. They are just pretending. And this other person here said, but he's putting on your mandate we shall stand cap. This is high level of hypocrisy. He should first remove the cap as a mark of total loss of confidence on the stolen mandate. Then Nigerians will take him serious. This other person here says, all we do in this country is just talking. No sector takes action. Even we, the citizens. The only group that takes action are the bandits and the Fulani terrorists. That's why insecurity keep rising. So guys, this is what this guy said. And this last person here reacted and said, one thing about these Islam extremists is that in any way they can lie to the point of death to defend their Islamic terrorist brothers. They can stand in any way to debunk. As you see this man, you think that his cry, that this cry that he's crying now is coming out of his heart. So this person is saying that for the fact that this is an Islamic thing to take over Nigeria, any Muslim can lie to tell you that they don't even know what's happening in Nigeria, but it's all about, you know, connivance. I'm just going to allow you to take a look at the video and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Now take a look.
Kalu defended James Omotosho, who convicted Kanu last week, saying criticisms of the verdict were misplaced and that the judge was simply doing his job. Let's take a look.
When we focus solely on Nnamdi Kalu, we have to solve this problem holistically, because there are over 30,000 Igbos that were killed. People that have their shop had no shops. People lost their businesses. There are over 30-something thousand Igbos that were killed in this process, and nobody talks about them. The court never mentioned about people that lost their business and run away from their villages. It's not something, I don't let me to go emotional here, because it's not something anybody can discuss. A lot of Igbos were killed, Shangu. A lot of Igbos were killed. If you don't know it today, let Igbos stop being emotional. I want us to settle down and go on our knees and find a way that the man can be released. You cannot rant up in a court of competent jurisdiction. I take exception to it. People might say it's good. I mean, Justice Omotosho is just a messenger of the court, and he did his job. If you are displeased, you go to appellate court. It's not to start insulting the man. What we should start looking now, the kind of people are going to appellate court, and we are using the political sides to solve the problem, because this is the area I know. I'll be contacting the Attorney General to advise the President, to advise people who are concerned on how we solve this problem.
Well, Orji Uzokalu's message is clear. Stop the noise and start negotiating. But will Kalu's political approach gain traction in the southeast, or will he be seen as selling out the IPOB cause? Well, in another development, the government of the United Kingdom has rejected the federal government's request to transfer former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu to Nigeria to complete his prison sentence for organ trafficking. Ekweremadu is currently serving 9 years and 8 months in a UK prison after being convicted in March 2023 for conspiring to exploit a young man's kidney. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had sent a high-level delegation comprising Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuga and Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi to London earlier this month to negotiate his transfer. However, the UK Guardian, quoting an unnamed Ministry of Justice official, reported that the request was rejected over concerns that Nigeria could offer no guarantees that Ekweremadu would continue his prison sentence after being deported, generating mixed reactions. And I'll take one eye before I come to you. ISIP wrote on X, this whole Ekweremadu issue just exposing how broken our system has become. How can the federal government even request that he completes his sentence here when we still struggle to enforce basic justice at home? The United Kingdom refusing isn't the real headline. The real headline is how little confidence other nations have in our institutions until we fix our justice system, rebuild trust, and end the policy failures that have weakened the country under this government. We'll keep facing this kind of international embarrassment. Nigeria needs leadership that restores credibility, not more shortcuts. Well, the United Kingdom's rejection is a major diplomatic setback for Nigeria. They're concerned that Ekweremadu might not complete his sentence if transferred speaks volumes about international perception of our criminal justice system. I'll reiterate again that this report is from an unnamed official from the Ministry of Justice in the United Kingdom. I hope that it's 100% credible. If it is, that's the reaction out there. What our perception in the global stage?
So I said this earlier that this is an indication that there's a trust deficit, not just with the Nigerian people and the criminal justice system, because I often refer to all eyes on the judiciary at the time when it was trending. And if you asked a number of people in Nigeria as to the criminal justice system, if you even look at the Nnamdi Kanu case, that's one of the issues that we have there, the trust in the justice system. Because in any sane country, what Orji Uzor Kalu said, he made a lot of sense there. And what the Nigerian government did by its lack of the deficit of trust in the criminal justice system was that people don't trust the government to be fair and just in the dispensation of justice. That's just what it says. And the UK has just alluded to that fact by almost a diplomatic slap on our face by saying that we don't have the capacity to guarantee that someone who's been convicted in the United Kingdom would come home to Nigeria and face the full wrath of the law. Let me give you an example. Recently, there was a whole ruckus around the president's pardon list. Remember that, and where some characters on that list were questionable, especially those who were convicted of crimes around terrorism, crimes around drug-related offenses, and people asked that what was the prerogative of mercy in that regard based on the gravity of the offense. Now, what we fail to recognize is that with all these things happening, it's not just Nigerians who have a say. The international world is watching. The world is a global village, and so when a nation like the United Kingdom does not have the confidence enough in our justice system to ensure that someone who's been convicted because of his political influence would face his full sentence, that's a problem. We need to fix our problems internally. Instead of propaganda around, let us keep a good face, let us talk about us well, let us fix our problem. Let us fix our institutions. Let us respect the rule of law in Nigeria. Let us not cherry pick on which order to obey and respect and which not to obey and respect. It's what's happened in the Nnamdi Kanu situation that's made him a hero. And unintentionally, this government have made him a hero. Because truthfully, if you listen to the calls of Nnamdi Kanu, a number of them incited terrorism and mayhem. It was he that ordered the sit-at-home order in the East. And this is what we see, the loss of economic activities in that area. People are not thinking of this. What they are looking at is that it is unfair. And it's not just unfair to the man alone, to an entire region. And that's why I agree that I hope that a political solution will be given to this particular matter, even though, unfortunately, based on his records and antecedents, he ought to have been made to face the full wrath of the law based on the number of lives and businesses and people that he affected and the things that he said. But because of our justice system, where they ignored court rulings based on Nnamdi Kanu, his bail, his compensation, people just see it as injustice, injustice, injustice. And that's why we keep on speaking. Let us raise strong institutions. Let us obey the rule of law. Let us ensure that not just internally, but internationally, we can stand strong as a people that respects the criminal justice system.
Well said, Ayo. Very well said.
Well, it's at the prerogative of the holding country.
All right.
So you can't just say you are sending a delegation. It's entirely at their discretion.
So, guys, it's really high time the Tinubu's government starts working for the people that they claim they are leading. Now, there is this video on the social media that there's this headline here from Arise TV that one of the parents of the abducted children from KB school has died. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, that one of them has died. So, guys, the headline here says one of the parents of the abducted children from the school died yesterday of heart attack. Mr. Anthony died of a heart attack following the abduction of his 3 children. People don't understand when you tell it as it is, you are not speaking against anybody. You are only trying to state the problem. The pains, the trauma are still very fresh. We tried speaking to the parents today and they were scared of speaking to us. Can you imagine? They kidnap your child and you are scared. The Tinubu's government has succeeded in putting fear in the lives of people. I don't know if you saw the video of students in Delta State. They said they cited Fulani headsmen, Fulanis. They appeared so strange. You must have also seen the guy that said he saw many Fulanis on bike in Imo State, and he tried to capture them using his phone. Do you know what? They stopped their bike, descended on him, they almost spied him. This is in Imo State. So guys, the audacity in these Fulanis, the fearlessness, they really have blood in their eyes. Nothing, human life means nothing to them. The way they will do it, you will not even believe your eyes. And that is what you see them doing. Now, the bandits have ended up releasing these KB students, you know, but unfortunately, one of the parents has died of heart attack. It's not easy to give your 3 children to bandits. You know, it's not easy to give your children to bandits. It's not easy. Now, I'm going to take you through some of the reactions from Nigerians after this news broke that one of the parents of the abducted children has died. Oh my God, really so sad. In Nigeria, the highest business creation is being done by kidnappers, where you now have Adamu and Sons kidnapping, professional kidnapping, whatever type of kidnapping you need, school girls kidnapping, market women kidnapping, whole community kidnapping, churchgoers kidnapping for quick ransom settlement, all DSS and call DSS and the presidency. I'm just wondering what the DSS is there for, honestly. This kind of thing cannot be allowed in the US. Their intelligence will pick you up. But in Nigeria, these people will plan. Do you know that the bandits have come out to make a video? When they were releasing the girls, they said they released the girls. The government didn't come for them. And they were able to make videos with the girls to show the world that it is out of their own voluntary will, voluntary action that they want to release these girls, meaning that the government could not even, the military, the intelligence cannot even get where they were. Oh my God. This tells you that Nigeria is gone. Now it says here, people don't know how terrible this is. Kidnapping toddlers is worst of the parent, is the worst a parent can face in his life. Hey, Jehovah. You will feel so useless imagining how your baby will survive, or how your baby who survives on special meal can cope 24 hours outside home. And this is supposed to be government top priority, yet nothing. Hey, this is really so sad. I'm telling you. Hey, Jehovah. Gumi said the bandits kidnap school children to make money. Making blood money is now part of our national consciousness. Bandits can make money with people's life, and they must be given and initiated with giving whatever they want if we want peace. Perfidy of their absurd. So guys, I'm really so touched that a parent has lost his life because 3 of his kids were abducted by these terrorists. So these terrorists are releasing these children only for them to get home now. And I don't know if it's among the KB girls or the one that happened in Niger State, but it's really sad, you know. If you have 3 children being abducted at the same time by terrorists, how can Nigeria be the reason a man dies before his time? How does a country push a father into the grave? Not by bullet, not by sickness, not by fear, but by fear, anguish, and helplessness. Oh my God. I'm really so touched. I'm really so touched over his own children. No parent should die simply because the government failed to do its most basic duty to protect life. A nation becomes a horror story when citizens die from shock. When pain kills faster than disease. Oh my God. When trauma replaces hope. Nigeria is supposed to give people life and a future, not break their hearts until they collapse. When insecurity becomes so normal that it steals parents, destroys families, leaves children orphaned while still in captivity. Oh God, we are no longer talking about crime. We are talking about a failed system killing its own citizens without even pulling a trigger. So guys, this is just this is really so sad. Now guys, this is sad. This is really sad. I'm just worried for what is really happening. The whole kidnap and rescue mission is planned, and the earlier we know that, the better. The earlier we know, the better. Tell me how you contact terrorists and no arrest it was made, no shootout, nothing. Nigerian. It's time we wise up. All of a sudden, the government knows how to rescue victims just out of the blues. It's really sad that the government knows who these people are. This is truly heartbreaking. A parent who sent his kids to school has now died from the shock of losing them, and his children are still there in captivity. That is not just insecurity anymore. It is emotional, psychological warfare against innocent families. It shows how deep the trauma runs, how people are dying before a bullet even touches them. And the saddest part is that the parents are now afraid to even speak out. Yeah, because they don't trust the system meant to protect them. This is tragedy beyond statistics. These are lives destroyed forever. So guys, I don't know what you make of this. It's really heartbreaking. It's touching, that we have to see all this. And they will not be prosecuted for this crime against humanity. UN Human Rights, ICC, I hope you are watching. The Nigerian government is refusing to prosecute terrorists. I think this is really good, honestly. This person had to tag the UN Human Rights, ICC, that's International Criminal Court. Since Nigerian government cannot prosecute them, I think this is deep, and it's what Gumi don't know. And the animal feels it all ends in kidnapping, pay ransom, and they release. So what about the trauma, the pain family and victims go through? Hey. It's really heartbreaking. So guys, you have heard it. One of the families of the kidnapped children, the father died out of heart attack. You know what it means? That your toddlers, the children that were kidnapped in Niger State, are still tender. Some of them primary, nursery 1, nursery 2, and all that. And this man's 3 children were kidnapped at a goal. He could not bear it. He has died. So sad that he died, not of bullet, not of sickness, but because he's a Nigerian faced with trauma that the government refuses to address. Let me know your thought on this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.